All right, today we have a 2005 Jaguar S-Type. I believe this might have the 4.2, and this transmission is the ZF6HP26. So the complaint, this actually came over the counter from a Jaguar dealership. We do all the transmission work for the local Jaguar dealership here. And the complaint was not shifting correctly. So they pull the transmission out, we go pick it up from them, overhaul it, have the converter done, and send it back to them. So their complaint, or the customer's complaint, was shifting hard, not shifting correctly. So I'm not sure if there were any codes present on this, but it does have, looked at the paperwork, about 58,000 miles. So we're going to open this up and see what we find. Probably going to find for what they're complaining about. Two biggest problems with these units. One is bushing wear. So I have a bushing kit that we're going to be installing in this, and of course I have the video on that as well. And the solenoids are a big problem. So they get sent out to Ericsson's Industries in Connecticut to be flow checked. So there's really not much on the outside to look at here. This is the electrical, where your wires go in, and of course in order to get the valve body out, we have to take this out first. So I'll get a little closer here with the camera, and first thing we can do is drop the pan. We'll take the connector out, take the valve body out, because the pan is integrated, the filter and the pan are integrated as one, and of course the filter neck goes into the pump, so we're going to have to do that first. Then we'll pull the valve body out. We'll show you the bridge seal, which is in between the case and the valve body, and we'll just break this down. Alright, so I will get a little closer and we'll start tearing this apart. Okay, so the first thing we do is tip this up, and we're going to take the pan down. This thing is probably full of oil. Alright, so this pan of course is going to be changed as part of the overhaul. Alright, so these are T40 Torx here. Some of this oil here. This pan will come right off. Okay, pan actually is very clean. This is your filter right here, and it's all, of course, incorporated into one. So we will put this aside. And now let me just get rid of more of this oil here. Actually, let me put you guys on hold for 1 second. Okay, so to continue, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take this sleeve out. Your wires go in here. And another common issue with this unit are these sleeves like to leak. Very common problem. So in order to get that sleeve out, you have this white tab here. All right, so we're going to kind of unlock the tab. You're going to push this little piece up right here and pull up on this tab. And then this will slide right out. All right, so when I get the overhaul kit, I only use original ZF overhaul kit. One of these comes in the kit, so this, this is going to be changed. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull this valve body off, and you have two different size bolts. Okay, you have T40. Torx T40, which hold the valve body to the case, and I believe you have either T27 or T30, and that's what holds the valve body together. Let's see. All right, it looks like it's going to be 27. All right, so of course we're going to take out the T40 bolts, and we'll remove the valve body from the case. So don't take out the T27 bolts, just the 40s. Okay, there's probably one more. Okay, pretty much, there's only two different length bolts here. So you really can't, you got three of them down here, very short. And then you have the long ones, they're all the same length. Okay, so we're going to lift this right off. Okay, and we'll look at this after this unit is torn down. And so we'll just carefully put this aside. All right, that is the valve body. Okay, so now in between the valve body and the case, you have this, they call it a bridge seal. All right, this whole piece should be changed. There's rubber inserts in here, and this is like hard plastic, and this thing loves to crack. And then if you have, for instance, if you have a car that has the drive-by or the shift-by wire, meaning you just like the park has the button, you push the button in, and it'll go into park. So if this bridge seal is cracked, and you put the car into drive, it's going to jump right back into park, when you have the park by wire. So it is a good idea to change this. This will also give erratic shifting and make it do some crazy stuff, produce some codes. So also on the overhaul, this also gets changed. Like I said, there are rubber inserts to reuse this again, but being the fact that this thing loves to crack, the whole thing is going to be changed. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we have some, you guys can see this here, we have some seals here that we're going to take out. Okay, so we're going to take these seals out. These seals primarily are for the C and D clutch drums. Alright, so I got this seal up a little bit. I'm using my stamping pliers just to get these started, and then I'll use like a needle nose or something to pull the seals out. Okay, so we got three different sizes here. If you can, let me try to hold these things up here. All right, so we got three different sizes. Well, actually, more like this. Okay. And that shouldn't be an issue to tell where they go, you know, through the depth of the hole. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take this pump out. And we're going to give it a little, before we take the pump out, we got to take the pump bolts out. Okay, we're going to take these bolts out right here. They should be 27, Torx 27. You know what, let me get a small extension. Okay. Okay. All right, so we got the bolts out. Now we can pull the pump and drums out. Okay, here is your pump, and I can tell you right now the stator bushing looks way worn out. I wouldn't be surprised if they felt this problem in the higher speeds, you know, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Okay. Alright. Okay, so here is your B clutch drum. And then we're going to pull this section apart. This houses, this is your E clutch drum, which is like the input shaft, and your A clutch drum is here, and the hubs. All right, so we'll move this aside. Okay, so the next thing we're going to get is we got a snap ring in here, and that's going to get our C and D clutch drum. Let's see if we can get this thing out. Let me just drain some of the oil. Alright, so I've got to get this snap ring to move. It's in there pretty tight. Alright, just popped up a little bit. Okay. Alright, that just popped out. That helps. Pretty heavy snap ring. All right, here's the snap ring that holds the center support in. Pretty much this is beveled on both sides. So this snap ring is the same on both sides. Okay, now I'm going to slide this center support out. That's what I like to call it, or the C and D clutch head. Okay. This should be your C clutch. And you'll have a bearing race. Goes right there. And this is your D clutch piston. Okay. You know what I gotta get out? Let's see if we can get this here. All right. All right, you know what, let me just back out a little bit. Hopefully everybody can see. Okay. All right, so here is the D clutch. You know, these things are in real nice shape. You know, it's really, mileage really isn't that bad. Okay. Here's your planet set. All right, we got a race. So, right, it sits there, but you can actually leave it, you know, sitting in there, but you just want to be in the ring gear, but you just want to be careful not to lose it. So I don't want to put mine in the tank and end up being at the bottom of the tank. All right, so I have to take this large nut off the back here. I gotta get this one off. Let me just get set up for that. I want to get rid of some of this oil. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so to continue, we're taking this large nut off the back here. And I have the socket fits okay. I don't have the exact size, but I have an 1 3/8. And it's a short socket, so my adapter is only going to go in so far, but this should come out fairly easy. Okay, there is the end nut. Come right off, and we can slide out that ring gear. All right, here you want to be very careful not to damage a sensor. It's one of the speed sensors reads this, and that's that. Here is your park gear right here. All right, and of course we're going to have some shims or end play. You want to be very careful not to lose those. Here's one thick one, which is going to go here. Okay, and we actually have one around this side as well. Okay, let me just take this off here. So, you know, we're going to knock the seal out and change the seal, and then we have another one which would go like that. Very important not to lose those. Okay, so I guess what we can do is put this case aside. So the case is empty now. And we're going to get set up and we're going to start doing these drums. All right, so once again, be right back. All right, so we're gonna start taking the front section apart. This is your A clutch drum, and with the input shaft, that is your E clutch drum. All right, a lot of times, as I said, with the stator bushing worn, it allows the oil to escape for the higher gears. So a common problem with these units are you'll have gear ratio errors, or you'll feel maybe some erratic shifting in the higher gears, 4th, 5th, and 6th. All right, so we got to take this snap ring out. There's a snap ring in here that's holding this cover on, and you got a couple of little dimples here that lock the snap ring in. All right, so if I try to take this out, see, it's not really going to come out. So what I do is I go about 1/4 of the way. Okay, and I use 2 screwdrivers, and I kind of just start working the snap ring around. Okay, just like this. Work it around, and then when I get up to the edge, she'll pop right out. And I'll show you the little things up close. All right, so this will come out. This will come off. And these are the little locks that hold it in place, and the snap ring opening is right here, and these 2 little locks hold the snap ring down. Okay, and then we're going to have the clutch hub to the A clutch. Slide off, and of course you have a bushing in here to be changed, and a bushing here to be changed. All right, now we have the E clutch hub. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now this E clutch drum will slide right out. All right, this is again your 4th, 5th, and 6th. And this is your A clutch drum. And we're going to talk about this A clutch drum in a minute. Let's open up this E clutch and see how these frictions are. Like I said, pretty low mileage, 58,000 miles, so this is probably going to be okay. But these do tend to wear, you know, though they won't burn, but they would wear down. See, it kind of looks. I'm going to wind up changing these. Some of them look a little worn down, but again, not burnt. And you have a bearing here. Okay, and this will kind of snap right in place. And then you have a bushing here. All right, and that keeps the hub center. So let's try this. Okay, this really doesn't have much movement, but you know what? It comes in a bushing kit, so that bushing is going to be changed. Okay, here is the A clutch drum. And we'll take this snap ring out. Okay. And you have 2 bushings here on this side. Both of them will be changed. All right, here is your A clutch. These actually are burnt, so they will be changed as well. All right, now just a quick note. This plastic, well, if you ever work on these and you try to remove this, you know, I would leave this plastic washer alone, because this will come out. It's a little tough to come out, and if it breaks, this washer is very, very expensive. And I'm not even sure how many are around, because I inquired about it once. I didn't break it. I elected to leave it alone, but I actually inquired about it in case I did break it, and I called Ericsson's, and I think they said they had to get it, and this thing might have been like $75 or $80. So I just leave them alone. Okay, really, you know, no reason to even disturb it. Okay, so this planet is held in with a snap ring. Sometimes they come right out and sometimes they don't come right out. The snap ring is inside. And you got to kind of find the ends. But let's see if I can get this out. Sometimes they come right out and sometimes they don't. I use this little screwdriver here. All right, I got one side up. And I lost it. I went to seat it back down. No, I think I still got it. Okay. Sometimes, like I said, they come right out, and sometimes they don't. But you got to work that snap ring around to get it out. I want to just show it to you. So let's see if I could just give it another shot. Perfect. Got it. All right, so here is the back side of that. Here is the snap ring. And the snap ring kind of sits in here. And it's not that easy to do. Okay, so the snap ring sits right around here, and then you put this in and it snaps in. But you got to make sure everything is lined up. I mark everything. So here's the snap ring here. And what I do is I use this little screwdriver, and you got to push it in from the side to push the snap ring out, and then kind of hold the piece up to get it out. You know, sometimes it would take me 30 minutes to get the thing out. But, you know, you got to change the O-rings and stuff, so it has to come out. And here are what it goes onto, you know, what the snap ring locks onto. And what I do is I make a mark. I make a mark here, and I make a mark on the drum, so it goes back in the exact same place. So you just can't put it anywhere because everything has to line up. So this is separate from this. These are two different things, and it has to line up. So I mark it with like a scribe, so I put it back the exact same way that it comes out. All right, so that is that. Now we're going to take a look at the B clutch drum. Okay, here's the B clutch. You have a bearing that goes in here like that, and just a note, these bushings do have to be changed, and this bearing has a lip on it. Okay, so you have to knock the bushing down far enough so it clears, it does not hit the lip, so this bearing doesn't stick up. All right, this is a little bit of a tough one to do, but what I have, I knocked this one out, knocked the other one down flush, then I have another bushing that I put on top of that, and I knock it down. Okay. So this is the B clutch, All right, this isn't too bad. These look pretty good. So we're going to keep these separate. All right, this again, in the case was your C clutch. All right, that looks all right. You got a bearing here. That should pop right off. And then, there's the D clutch. All right, again, not too bad. Looks all right. And again, don't forget, you have a race that goes on. All right, I'm sorry. I think this, I don't remember what I said. I believe this, yeah, I think I was right. This is your C clutch here, and this is your D clutch, because this actually goes into the case like this. So this is the C, and that is the D. Okay. All right, so we're gonna open up this pump. We're gonna actually, what we're gonna do is gonna separate the body and gears from the stator here. Okay, first on the pump, you have a little spacer here that you want to be careful not to lose that. And of course, you have this bushing in here that is going to be changed. And you have your rings, your sealing rings here, of course, that those are going to be changed. All right, now to separate the stator from the body and gears, we're going to pull out this section of bolts right here, right along the outside of like the stator. All right, now the bolts are pretty much loose already. So what I would recommend, instead of just kind of taking the gun and trying to zip these things out, what I do is I use the shocker. All right, and I really couldn't film that because I got to kind of stand around it to keep it steady. But pretty much, you know, you keep some tension on the shocker, and then you give it a shot, and it loosens the bolt right up. All right, I would recommend. Let me just leave this loose so I don't forget to tighten it. I would recommend doing that, you know, to these bolts here before you just try to zip them out with the gun, because if the T27, and if they strip out, you're going to have a hard time getting these things out. All right, so we're going to take these out. I'm going to leave 2 in to knock the pump down. Okay, so let's take these out here. All right, so I left 2 in. I'm going to screw these back in a little bit, and then lightly tap each side. We'll cover it down, loosen them up, and it'll fall right out. Okay, there we go. Take the bolts out. Okay, here is your stator. I just kind of leave it like this. I don't really feel there's any reason to go any further. There are bolts here. There's 1 bolt here, which would probably split this apart. But again, you know, I don't really see any reason to do that, so I just kind of leave it like that. And here is your pump body and gears. Okay, on the pump, you got the 2 dimples on the gears that are going to face up. So we're going to take those out. All right, instead of a bushing, you have a bearing in here. All right, you have an O-ring here. and you have your front seal here, but you want to inspect the pocket, make sure it's good, it's not worn out. These are generally pretty good. Really haven't seen many bad pumps on the ZF26. All right, so let's move this stuff aside here. All right, on your valve body, this is your MLP, or manual lever position sensor. It tells the computer what range you're in, or actually a range sensor they call it. Here are all your solenoids. These are the ones that I'm going to ship out to be tested. And once I get the computer off, I'll take the hold down bracket off, pull the solenoids out. I'm going to, of course, take a picture and mark how these things are in so I don't put them back incorrectly. And there's an open cavity here. This is normally where you would have that solenoid when you have a park by wire or a shift by wire. And when you pull these solenoids out, there are end plugs with clips, so nothing is going to fly out of the valve body when you pull these solenoids out. Okay, you have a couple of speed sensors. You got a speed sensor here, you got a speed sensor here. This actual little piece is the computer. Of course, you have your pins where the wire hooks up. And if there's any issue, with the Megatronic unit, all you can really do with this thing is check your power and grounds. And you want to be very careful taking this piece off when you unbolt it, because again, you really don't want to crack this thing, because then that's big trouble. Okay, and I'm going to be, taking this whole thing apart. Probably be another video, just like I did with the 19. Similar, but I'm going to do it anyway. When you do have this apart, I will mention this again when I film the valve body. There is a code to get the right plate. This one says B052, so you give that to the transmission part supplier, and he should know what you need. Well, I guess that's really about it for this unit. You just want to be extremely careful handling this valve body, but again, this will be a short video in itself. All right, so okay. I tell you, people see my car and they start pulling in, and it's honestly just a little before 6 o'clock in the morning. All right, so once again, 2005 Jaguar S Type with a 4.2, the ZF6HP26, and the complaint was pretty much erratic shifting, and it's either going to be caused by, I would think, one of two things, which would be either solenoids, which are an issue with this unit, or bushings, but seeing what I'm seeing here, I am going to send the solenoids out because I can't leave any stone unturned with the people at Jaguar. But it certain to me looks like that these bushings are certainly worn down. They're Babbitt style. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to go get the bushing kit, and I'll show you the one that I use that I get through Transtar, Durabond, very good bushing kit. And I guess that's about it. Once again, with this Planet set here, you have this bearing race, and this bearing race goes here. This bearing race is going to go here, so just be careful. Okay, I just like to take the thing out, because if I forget about it, I put the stuff in the tank, and then that's it. All right, and it's going to ride, it rides on here just like that. All right, let me just actually show you the bushing kit. Let me see if I have one here. Okay, here is the bushing kit that I use. All right, and it carries pretty much all the bushings and then some for the 6HP26. So I'm going to start cleaning up this unit. I got to order my parts. Again, only original ZF parts, the overhaul kit, the clutches, the pan is going to be an original pan. The solenoids, of course, nobody makes the solenoids on the aftermarket, but I wouldn't use those anyway. And pretty much just a plate for the valve body. Sonics makes it, and it's actually a very good product. So I believe the separator plate that I get is a Sonics product. But other than that, everything else is pretty much ZF. So I guess that's about it on this one. I thank you guys for watching, and you guys have a great day.